Close your eyes. Think back when you were a child. What did you imagine that you would be when you grow up? A doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, an engineer? How often did you see people who were like you depicted in these roles in the media or in real life? Chances are, if you aspired to be a scientist, and if you were black or Hispanic, it wasn't often. If you had a disability or, or were Native American, it was probably even less often. The demographic makeup of America is changing. The U.S. is projected to be a majority minority society within the next 30 years. Jobs in science, technology, engineering, agriculture, and math play an increasing integral role in the economy. As job opportunities in STEAM increase, the percentage of minorities in these fields remains stagnant at the best. In light of these realities, it is now more important than ever to increase interest and to develop trajectories for individuals from underrepresented backgrounds in STEM. Where do we start? With kids? That's where.
Many of us developed our conceptions of our future careers based on games we played, shows we watched, and books we read during childhood. Unfortunately, many children from minority backgrounds do not see themselves in the media made for them. To address this problem, we, the SySTEMic Action Group, have come together as scientists, educators, and agriculturalists to create a line of STEAM educational resources for youth, featuring characters of diverse backgrounds and experiences. Our line of resources aims to increase STEM literacy and interest in STEAM topics, increase awareness about an array of possible careers in STEAM, and build the perception that STEAM careers are an option regardless of one's background, all with the ultimate goal of increasing the number of minorities in the STEAM workforce pipeline. Our product is a STEAM comic book series. The books will be unique in comparison to other STEAM comic books in that they will be application-based, using agriculture as the vehicle for teaching STEAM concepts. It's tough, at least for us scientists, to reduce an engaging science story to a 24-page comic book. However, when executed correctly, the content is delivered effectively. Comic books are the platforms we should use to tell more of our stories. Our comics will also feature a diverse array of characters, not only in ethnicity, but also in gender and abilities. The issues will revolve around a fourth grade classroom, Mr. Reese's classroom, and will teach scientific topics in applied settings. For example, each issue will center on a question that addresses a key scientific topic, such as, how does corn grow? In this case, the educational lesson would be about photosynthesis. We will market the comic book series to educators and parents of youths 9 to 11 initially. This age corresponds to 4th and 5th grades. In many public schools, the advent of mandated standardized testing has narrowed the scope of what is taught to only content that will be tested. As a result, science curricula have been relegated to a lower priority, if even taught at all. Educators and parents are therefore constantly seeking ways to keep their children engaged in learning and provide educational enrichment outside of the classroom. A STEAM comic book series would fill in the gaps in science instruction in a fun format that children will be likely to engage in their leisure time. Parents of minority backgrounds are also increasingly seeking to imbue their children with a positive sense of racial and cultural identity. These parents thus constitute an ideal potential market for our product. It is our goal that our product line will expand to target a larger age range over time. The content topics and rigor will evolve to be appropriate for the educational level of the children.
The initial phase of product development will be to create a webcomic accessible via the website. This webcomic will be used to build our customer base and solicit funding to cover the cost of the full comic book production. Every month, we will release a strip of the comic on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter to develop our fan base. Advertisements will also be run on Facebook. Chapter 1 of the comic book will be available for free download while the Kickstarter campaign is running. And during the comic book strip teasers, we will also have a Kickstarter campaign and a Chapter 1 promotional where we will contact bloggers, both big and small, for example, the Indie Comic Books and CNN for interviews. We believe that our niche market for diverse comics will be supportive enough of our types of products. Therefore, we will focus our efforts mostly on the grassroots blogs. We will distribute the comic books via social media and networking. As PhD students, we will travel to Manners and Abercrombie's. Both conferences are centered for students who are of the minority demographic, and we'll use these platforms to promote and sell our product. Our goal is to distribute 500 comic book previews at these conferences as well as comic conventions. Maurice will use his expertise and time with the Summer Research Opportunities programs for students to build support and following for the product.
We have several major objectives for the first year of this project. Those include to identify additional donors, to create an LLC, and especially to hire an illustrator and finalize the first comic book storyline within the first and second quarter of the first year. We also plan to approve the initial comic book mock-up and disseminate comic previews online in the third quarter of the first year. By the end of the year, we hope to hire a webmaster to maintain social media and web images. Our initial expenses are fairly simple. We'll hire an illustrator to design the artwork for the books and an experienced editor to refine the content. We plan to self-publish to keep costs low and to raise $15,000 over the course of 3 years to fund the first comic issue. The comic will become available for pre-order shortly after the release of the webcomic in the fourth quarter of the second year. The final comic will be available for purchase by the end of the third year, which is also when we expect to see our first profits. Our product is differentiated from that of our competitors in a couple of ways. In addition, Max Axiom has fairly short timelines, and some people have expressed interest in having a longer timeline. Our books will follow a theme, so the storylines will be a little bit longer and will grow from one story to the next.
Meet our team. Creative Director, Kayla Echols. Content Development, Rachelle Copeland. Marketing and Distribution, Maurice Smith. Finance and Legal Affairs, Jasmine Dillon. And Public Relations, Saundra Wheeler. We also have Science and Financial Advisors. Of Penn State, we have Dr. Wayne Gersey, who serves as the Associate Director of Multicultural Engineering. We also have Ms. Tracy Troutman of USDA ARS. She serves as the Outreach and Diversity Branch Chief. Additionally, we have Dr. Quentin Tyler of the University of Kentucky. He serves as the Assistant Dean and Director for Diversity. He also serves as the National President for Manners, Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences.